Hello, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to the Aural Theory series. My name is Dr. Julia Alford. In today's video, we are going to do a harmonic dictation using the Neapolitan 6-chord or the flat 2-6 or the N6, whatever your teacher calls it, it's fine. So if you have not already, I did just post a lesson, so you can back up one in the playlist or go below, there will be a link. And work through that lesson if you're not comfortable with what to listen for, okay? Because we're just going to kind of skip over everything, except that the flat 2-6 is a strong predominant. One of the strongest is going to come last before the dominant section if it's there. And it is a major chord built on the lowered second scale degree, and it is typically found in first inversion, thus flat 2-6. So it has fa in the bass, so it's ra, fa, lay. That's important if you're in major. And the resolution is very careful, and we'll take a look at that as we go. Okay, so let's jump in. So we have 9 chords. We're in E minor. We have do in the bass, do in the soprano. We're using movable do solfege. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it or back up to any other video. Let's see. And what do we know? So we know we're starting on 1 chord, right? 2 do's, easy peasy. We usually start on 1. Then we're probably going to end on a 1 chord too. So some kind of do in the left hand, you may be there or there, probably not any other direction. You're going to have a dominant section at the end. You're going to have 1 to 2 dominant chords, and you're going to have a predominant chord. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you have. If we look at the flat 2-6 chord, it's built on the lowered second scale degree, which is in the second scale degree in E minor is F sharp. So we're going to give that a little natural. And then it's going to be A and C, and that is a major chord, so nothing else to do there. And then it is likely in this position, with A being in the lowest voice and everything else spread out. And we're going to double the third of the chord. So if you're listening to outer voices, there is a chance you'll have fa in both voices as we go on. Okay, always good to think through that stuff. So some things to listen for. 1, you're going to mark where you hear the Neapolitan. You could do that right away. We're going to start with taking down the bass line. You're going to listen for, is there tonic expansion, or is it some kind of like alternative opening, like the 3 to the 4, or the 3 to the 6, or the 6 to the 5, something like that. And there is another applied chord in here. There's actually a couple of applied chords, and we'll get to that as we go, so listen for where those are. So, but first, let's take down the bass. Okay. So 2 listings for the bass. And I'm not going to mark anything. I'm going to let you just listen, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so that last note to my ears, it's the E below the staff, or E2. Okay, so we can get rid of that one there. Okay, so E2. If you want to kind of dance back and forth between the bass and the chords, it's never a bad idea. But let's do one more listening for the bass and see if you can pick it out. Now, it does, we'll listen to it, and then I'm going to talk about it, and then maybe we'll listen to it again because there's something I want you to hear. But I want you to take one more stab at it before we go on. And I'm going to slow it down just a bit more. Okay, if you need more listenings, back up. Let's talk about it. So at the beginning, it ascends, which is kind of a telltale sign of tonic expansion at the beginning. So do, re, mi. And then from there, it skips down. You may be kind of, it's a little unsettling because there's something happening on this chord. Okay, but I'll tell you right now, it's going back down to do. And then it's leaping up. Where is it leaping up? If you're not sure, back up from the end. We know that we're going to have sol at the end. It could be, is there a cadential 6/4? No. So we only have really one dominant chord. We're going to kind of expand the definition because this here is a chromatic motion. So we have fa, fi, sol. If you watch the video, you know the lesson video, you know that that's what that tells you. And then it just stays in oblique motion here. So do, re, mi, do, fa, fa, fi, sol, do. Okay. Let's take one more listen to that so you can kind of hear it and watch it. Okay, so next let's do some mapping. So you're going to listen for where the Neapolitan chord is, but you're also going to confirm tonic expansion or unconfirm it, I guess. And then you're going to listen for where those extra applied chords are. Okay, and we know that we have a chromatic pitch here, so that's, you know, pretty surefire thing. Also, you can just kind of tell by the bass line where the Neapolitan is, but I'm going to let you think on that and figure it out and see what kind of clues you can gather from these two mapping listenings. So let's go on. Okay. One more for mapping. Gather what you can gather, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so for me, I definitely hear tonic expansion. I hear, as we talked about, an applied chord here. There's something funky going on there, and it's clearly resolving to this chord. That tells you something very specific. I'll let you keep thinking about it. This is clearly something with that chromatic chord, and then you've got fa, fa, and then remember that the Neapolitan has to be the last predominant before you go to the dominant section. This chord here is resolving to this chord, so that means that this, and it's also the last fa in the bass before, like, in the progression, so that has to be your flat 2, 6. We actually label it down here. Okay. Now pause the video, go through and marking your chord possibilities for each chord. So do, re, mi, do, sol, sorry, do, fa, fa, fi, sol, do. Okay. Now in a normal progression, you wouldn't have that confirmation. You would just continue listening and go back, and because you're going back and forth between the bass and the chords and trying to figure things out as we go. Let's listen to that one more time, and then I want you to pause the video and take some guesses at what chords you have, and then we're going to listen to the soprano and you're going to guess some more, and then we'll do one final listening to, like, kind of confirm everything, because at that point you should have a pretty good idea of what everything is. So let's listen one more time with the bass. Okay, pause. sketch in your chord possibilities. I'm not going to put them up until the end because I want you to keep thinking about them, and come back and we'll do the soprano. Okay, good. We're back. So let's listen for the soprano line and see what kind of clues we can glean from that. Okay. Did it feel like a perfect authentic cadence? No. So we know it doesn't end on do in soprano, so that could help you out a little bit there. Let's listen one more time. If you need to back up and grab more listenings, I definitely recommend that. There might be a couple tricky things in here that you'd want to grab, so you might need more than 2, but let's go on. Okay, ready? Back up. Let's go on. Let's look at it. Okay, so we have do, T, that has to go back up to do. And then we go down a step, but listen. So it's do, T, do. Is this note? This is your second note. Is it the same as the fourth? No, they're half step apart. So it's do, T, do, te, and that goes down to lay. Lay. And that lay goes up. We actually looked at this in the lesson video. To la, to sol. So you got those doubled sols in the outer voice, and that stays put. Okay, so I'm just gonna click the notes in Sibelius and you'll hear it. Do, T, do, te, lay, lay, la, sol, sol. Okay, so take another stab at that. Some things you can fill in. You know that this is tonic expansion here at the beginning, so this is going to be a 1-6. The re is tricky, right? The re, remember, could be the 5-6-4. It could be the 7 diminished 6. It could be the 5-4-3. And by 5-6-4, I mean passing 6-4, not conventional 6-4. So you've got some options there. Listen carefully on this last listening to that. And then here we do have this applied chord here. So if you haven't figured out already, this is a 4. Nice minor chord there. And this is your 5-7 of 4. So your flat 2-6. And then this one, if you haven't figured it out already, I'm going to give you another minute to think about that. And then we just have a plain old 5 chord. But you would want to listen if you weren't sure. Listen in here if that's a 7 going to our 1. Okay, so one more listening, lock in, especially to that second chord. This would be a chance if I didn't give you all that information to figure that out, and see if you can get that third to last chord too if you haven't already figured it out. Okay, one more time. Okay, you ready? Get more listens if you need them. Let's look at the answer in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we have a minor 1 to a 7 diminished 6. Haven't seen one of those in a little bit. To a 1-6, to the 5-7 of 4, to the 4, to the Neapolitan 6, flat 2-6, to the 7 diminished 7 of 5. If you need more context on that, you're like, whoa, what? You didn't watch the lesson, you should go back and watch the lesson. That's why I said watch the lesson before we got to this. And then just the 5 triad, because we do have that applied leading tone 7 chord we're not gonna go to a seventh chord. That would be really rare. And then ending on the minor one with sol in the soprano. Okay, that's it. Please do subscribe, click the like button if you like this video, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you want to see after this series. I'm almost done. So the next set will be modulation, and then we're just going to do a bunch of practice for a while. So let me know what you'd like to see in the coming videos, and I'll get that going for you. And that's it. Good luck with your practice. Bye.